Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Emily. I make videos in fitness and in life. Today's video is going to be completely different than all of my regular content. So if this is the first video that you're watching, please go watch all of my fun videos on fitness and workouts, food, recipes, traveling, vlogs, lifestyle, all sorts of fun, positive, uplifting content. That is where my heart is at. I always want to provide you guys with like good, positive, happy vibes. So you guys will always get that in my regular content. This is going to be a little bit different of a video. Really quick, interrupt this intro. I just finished filming the video and I want to come back to the beginning to tell you guys I get really heated and really passionate in this, and when I was planning to film the video, I was like, Emily, like hold back, don't fully, but you know what, that's me, and I'm very strong in my belief and in my stance on this, and it really shows throughout the video. This would be a really great time to take out any children that are in the room. Make sure there's no children in the room. If you get really offended by a strong use of the English language, you may also get really offended by this video, but this is the honest, real, uncut version of what happened and what's going on. So back to the intro. I love you guys and I'll see you at the end. In today's video, I'm going to share a life experience that I recently had with you that was less than great, to say the least. I am going to tell you about my experience taking the Master in Transformational Training, often referred to as MITT. I'm going to share with you what it is, why I signed up, my experience going through it, my opinion on it, the research that I did after it, as well as reviews from other people, and why I had the absolute responsibility and need to make this video for you. Now, you guys know I love to keep it happy and lighthearted and total positive vibes on here. I do not ever spend my time making negative review videos. Actually, this is the very first negative review video that I've ever made, and it's because I just feel so strongly that this needs to be said and this needs to be out there. I find it very, very interesting that there is not one single YouTube video about this training out of the hundreds of thousands of people that have done it over the span of many, many years. So just know normally if I try something and it's just simply not for me, no negative vibes here, I'm completely done with it, not a big deal. There's a reason why I'm sitting down, why I've made this very long outline, which you guys will see me referring to throughout the video, and why I just feel so strongly that this needs to be out there. I've thought about this so many times, and the truth is that I could just go along with my life and never say a word about this and just completely erase it from my memory and be like, wow, what a terrible experience, but I'll move on with my life. But the problem is that I actually care about the human beings across the screen, and if you were my sister, my brother, my mom, or my dad, I would never let you do this, and I have to make this video because of that. I feel a moral obligation, a responsibility, and a duty to provide this content for you. Before getting started, I want to make it abundantly clear. I'm not here to convince you of anything. So if you have a different opinion or a view, or you've been through it, or you're currently in the program, totally cool, that's your choice. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I just see you guys as extended family, extended friends, and you guys need to be aware. So if anything, I want you to be the most aware consumer possible. So what is it? Master in Transformational Training. Essentially, it's a personal development, life, career type of course. That's how it is promoted directly from their website. I'm gonna read it. It says, the basic training, which is the training that I went through, is a caring, inspirational, and educational environment for discovery and the most crucial aspects of your life. Caring, inspirational, and educational is the furthest thing from what I experienced. You will discover what stops you in life. You will realize new ways to be more effective, acquire generosity and fulfillment in both your personal relationships and your career, while experiencing new levels of self-confidence, vitality, joy, and satisfaction. That all sounds really, really great on the surface level, and it's definitely a part of why I signed up. So how I heard about it and what convinced me to sign up, I initially heard about it through conversation of acquaintances, people that I knew. I knew a few people here in LA that had taken it, and then I heard about it again through more people who had gone through it, more friends, just in conversation. And then I really started the conversation with them because I was in a spot in my life where I really wanted to invest in my personal development. I've done a few different personal development courses this year, one by Tony Robbins, one by Chris and Lori Harder. I recommend both of those programs. They're absolutely amazing. They're positive, uplifting, and encouraging, as well as offering a lot of truth. Great programs. So I was ready for that next step. I was ready to sign up for an in-person intensive training, and I was so excited to figure out all the ways that I'm not yet self-aware, because I love being self-aware. What ultimately convinced me to sign up were two people that I know that essentially just said, you just have to do it. It's the best thing ever. It's life-changing. Please do it. You will not regret it. You have to do it. So I did it, and of course I put their names down as the referral, so they get like commission for it, because I'm in the world of referring people to really great things, and if I make commission, that's great, so I want to do that for other people too. That's initially what made me sign up, and I kind of blindly signed up. I didn't do a ton of research on it. I did look at their website and saw what the training programs said about themselves, but I didn't necessarily look at what other people said about it yet. What I was hoping to get out of this training were three things. Number one was clarity on my live event that I'm having June 15th, 2019. I really wanted clarity around that because I want every single experience during my live event, every interaction that I have with people, I want it fully aligned with my why, my purpose, and the way that I want people to feel after being with me. The second thing that I wanted out of this training was more self-awareness. Like I just discussed, I was really excited to figure out all the new things that I haven't yet discovered about myself. Number three, I hoped that this training would bring my boyfriend and I closer together. We decided to do it together, and that was one of my goals. Is it would be really cool to do some sort of personal development together and grow together as a couple. What you probably don't expect me to say right now is that I actually got all three of those things. So I guess in a way I can thank the training in a really messed up kind of way, but I did get all three of the things that I hope to get. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to take you through the experience of what it's like from signing up to the days of training that I went to, and take you through what I experienced. It's really important to me that I relay this to you in a way just like if I was sitting here talking to my sister or talking to my brother or talking to my parents. That's how I want to talk to you guys. So I'm going to try to do it in the realest way possible and give you guys an exact description of what happened. Okay, so you sign up online, and then the training is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Wednesday through Friday, it's 7 p.m. to midnight. It says midnight is the approximate time that they end because they always keep you way over. And then on Saturday, it's 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., so 12 hours. And then on Sunday, it is, I believe, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. It was 10 hours instead of 12. Not sure on the exact start time. You sign up online, and then whenever you go on Wednesday, you come 1 hour earlier to get your name tag and sign in and register. Whenever we got there to get our name tags, I am huge on vibes and energy, you guys. I don't even have to try to read it. It's just something that comes very naturally to me. So when I read something, I know that it's right. Instantly, the vibe that I got from all the people that were there, imagine yourself, you're walking through this hotel and you have a ton of tables on either side, all the name tags there. Mind you, there are 226 people in the one that I did. So a lot of volunteers, a lot of name tags. You go find your name tag, and the instant vibe that I got from the people across the table was, they have no idea. Like this like snooty, like they thought they were a little bit better than us. And you guys, this is the vibe that I got, and I know that it's right. I'm never wrong on these. So it was just a total weird, total fake-ish type of vibe. After you register, before it starts right at 7 p.m., you walk in the doors and immediately you put all of your belongings to the back of the room. And then after you leave all of your belongings, you can walk up to the front. Now, the very first day walking in, they did allow us to bring drinks. So it seemed pretty, relaxed. We could have water. People had Starbucks. You go to sit down and you have to walk from the back of the room all the way to the front of the room. It's like quite a walk. And then there's all the chairs and then a small little stage type of area where the instructor is. There are volunteers in each row of the chairs, and they're screaming, "Fill the front rows first! Fill the front rows first!" Like over the music. And it's not in a like, hey guys, like fill the front rows, thank you. It's like so rude, so dramatic, negative vibes times 1,000, just such a terrible environment. So it really makes me laugh when I read their description that says a caring, inspirational, educational environment, because literally from the get-go, I was just like, what did I walk into? But even through all of the resistance that I was feeling, and I was feeling resistance because of the vibe, the energy, the entire aura of the room was like the most negative thing ever. And I was like, it's okay, I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow, this is just how they do it. I can deal with that. I can follow rules, I can do what they want to do, I can do this, I can handle this. Just from walking in, it was already such a negative experience. After everybody filled the front rows first in a really negative and kind of crazy type of way, the instructor Kathy comes up. She introduces herself as the most booked psychologist in the world. So right away, she tells you she's one of the best in the world. She's been doing this for, I don't remember the number she threw out. It was something like 20 to 30 years or something. So ultimately, she is sitting there up at the front, making sure that she tells everybody how good she is. She spent probably an hour convincing us that the program worked. That if you were there, if you gave 100%, the program worked. And within this first hour, I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I'm like, that's awesome. Like, yeah, I believe that. That's why I'm here. Yeah, of course. That's why I spent that money. And then eventually I was like, why are you still convincing me that this program works? Why are you still convincing me that the training, which they refer to it as the training, it's its own entity, which is kind of weird. I just spent an hour that I thought I would receive training, I would receive education, I would receive a caring, inspirational, educational environment. And so far it's been really negative and I've learned nothing within the first hour. She then spent the next hour talking about the next 2 levels of training, which are referred to as the advanced and the LP, the legacy program. That's the second hour of training that I'm in, and I'm just being sold the next 2 options. And all I could think of while I was there was, I've learned nothing. Why would I want to sign up for the next level already? I understand that it's a tiered system and you want everyone to go through all 3 levels, which is also interesting because the first training is $500. The second training is over $1,000, and I haven't even looked into what the third training could be because it's probably ridiculous, but I don't know the information on that. So she spent another hour of the training convincing us to sign up for all 3 levels. And at that point, I was kind of just like, I get it, they need to make sales, but like, I've literally learned nothing. What are we doing here? Like, time is one of the most precious things to me, and it was so far the biggest waste of time. Let me remind you, even with that, I am dedicated, I'm there to learn, I'm there to grow, I'm there to be a student, to learn everything that I can. So I put my ego aside, put my pride aside, and I was like, you know what? It's okay, I understand, you know, this is just the way that they do things. I'll wait to learn. I'll wait for it to get good so that I can learn whatever we're supposed to be learning during this basic training. She also spent a ton of time explaining her experience going through her first level of training and how she was such a different person, and she made fun of herself in the sense that like when she was at that training, she was like this, not receptive, not open to anything, like thought it was all BS, thought it was a scam. And I kind of understand, you know, if you're gonna be there, you should be open. And I was with that. I was like, yeah, like if you're here, you should give 100%. I get it. But she spent a lot of time on that. Again, more time wasted within this first day of training. She then went on another hour or more tangent of how everybody needs to be 100% all in. Her example was, if you're sitting down playing poker with friends and you only have pennies on the table, and if you get up to go to the bathroom, you lose the pennies, pretty much everyone is going to get up to go to the bathroom if they have to go really bad. But if you have $1 million on the table, there is no way that you're going to get up and go to the bathroom and leave $1 million on the table. So she was like, you have to be here, you have to be all in no matter what, like absolutely aligned with everything that we talk about. So she's really, really prepping everybody's minds to be there all in. I was sitting there like, man, like what a waste of time, but I understand maybe they're doing it for other people. I would try to be so understanding. Then we finally got to a little bit of the interactive portion of the first day of training, and she asked people to stand up and say why they were there, what was their purpose for being there. And so what they would do is someone would raise their hand, she'd call on them, they would stand. A volunteer who, mind you, there are a ton of volunteers in the room. The volunteers are people that are either in the LP training or have already graduated from that training. I'm not sure which one it is, but they're required to volunteer without pay. One of those volunteers, they come down one of the aisles, they run really fast, and then they kneel and put the microphone like this. And the first person on the edge, like if I was on the edge of a big row of people, I would grab the microphone, and I would have to hand it to the person next to me. And the rule is you hand it to every single person up until the person that is standing so that they can turn on the microphone and speak. Oftentimes people would pass the microphone, they would skip the very last person. And then she would laugh and make everyone stop and say, notice your patterns. Are you a person that always skips over everyone? Or are you the person that's always letting someone skip by you? So she was trying to get people to recognize their thought patterns, but every single time that anyone did anything that did not match what she wanted, or if she just truly wanted to call them out to recognize their patterns, it was done in a condescending tone. There was always a condescending laugh met with whatever was going on. Anytime that someone would raise their hand and ask a question, it would be met with another question. Anytime that someone said anything that she thought was even remotely stupid, she would make it well known, ridicule, belittle, and make fun of, and make some other human being feel like a total piece of shit. So I want you to imagine yourself. You ask a question, the teacher thinks you're stupid and belittles you, makes you feel like a piece of shit in front of 226 other people who the first time feel uncomfortable because it's weird to make another human feel like like shit. And then after a while, everyone kind of starts laughing and almost making fun of them with her, which I also thought was very interesting and very just not okay. The entire night, she was dragging everything out painfully long. But it's funny because every time someone had a question that didn't align with where she wanted the conversation to go, she had no time at all. She'd run right over them and go on to the next question as if it did not matter. The rest of day one, we went over ground rules. So these ground rules, which are just rules that you need to abide by while you're in the training system, were meant to kind of let everyone be at the same level playing field. Kind of like if you play basketball, there are rules in basketball and you need to play by the rules so you can play the right game. So these rules are things you learn in elementary school, like be on time, don't speak over another person, like all these small things. And what she would say is, I agree to be on time for all of the trainings. Please signify by standing. And the entire room would have to stand up, stay standing while she got away from the stage, went and walked through to make sure every single person was standing, and then back up to the top. And she did this with like every single, little thing. And in between, she would have people ask questions. And that's usually when the belittling, the harassment, the, making fun of other people occurred. We did an exercise the first day where it was called the trust exercise. And you were to go around the room, and essentially it's 226 people, and you all walk around the room, and as soon as you come up to another person and you lock eyes, you look at each other and say either one of four things. I trust you, I don't trust you, I'm not sure if I trust you, I don't care to say if I trust you or not. Of course, this is like all part of the psychological game that they're doing. So essentially you're to go around and say, I trust you, I don't trust you, I trust you, I don't know if I trust you. And like they have do this like multiple times within the group. After that, we found a volunteer, all the volunteers were in lines, and everyone would go make a line in front of that volunteer until they had about 8-9 people in each group. We broke down into our group session, said why we were there, what might hold us back from going all in on this experience, like how other people in the group can hold us accountable and responsible, and we also had a group leader. We then scheduled our coaching call for the next day. Mind you, in the ground rules, they say that you promise to take care of your health, to make sure you get adequate sleep, to make sure you get adequate food. They portray it in a way that they care about you. But then they schedule all the group calls between 8 and 9 a.m. A lot of people are not getting home from the training until 2 a.m. and later. I've actually read reviews online that sometimes they have held them until 4 a.m. in the morning, and they still have those calls. So if you're not reading between the lines here, they are purposely sleep depriving you by keeping you there so late, making you numb, because mind you, when you're there, when you're actually having the experience, you're sitting in a chair, there is zero side talk, which means you can't talk to your partner, obviously, you can't talk to anyone around you, you can't smile, you're not allowed to say bless you if somebody sneezes. What? You're sitting there, and after the very first session, no water was allowed. So no food, no water, no contact to the outside. You were not allowed to go to the bathroom, and if you do go to the bathroom, you're made to be the most terrible person in the world who doesn't keep your word, and you must fall on all of your commitments in your life, and you must be a terrible person, and this pattern is in every single area of your life. And she talks about how she's done, however many trainings in her life, and she's never had to go to the bathroom during. So if you have a small bladder, you're completely screwed. Thankfully, I didn't have to go in the middle of the training, but I saw other people that did, and they were completely ridiculed, belittled, made to feel like a total piece of shit for having to pee, for literally having to pee. Day 2 of the training starts with a coaching call. Remind you, you've only gotten about anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of sleep. I believe I got almost 6 hours of sleep. So coaching call, I'm exhausted, talk to my coach, and then you get there and we do more of the ground rules. We literally spent, I don't even know how long, because we're not allowed to have food, water, or cell phone, but it was at minimum an hour, if not more, on the ground rules and standing to signify if we agree or not. Right after finishing the ground rules, we immediately break out into a dyad exercise. A dyad is where one person is sitting in a chair and your partner is sitting in a chair across from you, and you guys are looking at each other, kind of like how I'm looking at you right now. In this exercise, you have partner A and partner B, so they would have one partner go at a time. So imagine yourself sitting down, you have a person that is sitting across from you, and they ask them to stand up and stand over you. So you're in a dark room, tons of strangers everywhere, they have like music on in the background, and you're having this person stand over you like this. And while they're standing over you, they are doing this prompt. So she's on the microphone saying, when in your life have you had someone stand over you? When have you been looking up to somebody? When have you been looking down to somebody? And they do it at all levels. So at the standing up, at the sitting down, and then they have your partner lay down, and they literally say, when have you been looking down on somebody? What was it, on someone's deathbed? Was it this? Was it that? And mind you, at this point, people are feeling pretty uncomfortable. You hear sniffles everywhere, because in a room of 226 6 people, imagine the life experience that people have had and what that's bringing up for them. I don't care how mentally strong you are, which everyone is a little bit weaker because we're a little sleep deprived, a little water deprived. Everyone's a little weaker than normal. So emotions are coming a little faster than normal. And that is like bringing up a lot of things for people, regardless of how strong you are. Then this is the good part. They say partner A, which is me, stand up. And they say, act as how your mother acted when you were a child. Was she loving? Was she kind? Was she not so loving? Was she not so kind? And at this point, you have grown-ass women and men all across the room crying. Some are weeping. Some are acting out as their mothers acted out. Then we move on to the next partner and she goes. And then we go back to you and they say, now act out your dad. And how was that growing up? What did he do? Act as if he acted to you. So all these people are acting out and you have grown-ass men throwing chairs, beating the shit out of the air. You're hearing smacks all over. People are weeping, literally weeping all across the room. And here's the thing, here is what I have a problem with. I have no problem going to the deepest and darkest moments of my life if you are going to bring me to it and then bring me through it. But here's where I have a fucking problem. They brought everybody to it and then they turned the lights on and said, okay, next thing. They did not bring a single person through it. And I don't give a shit if you say that after the 5-day training, that's when they bring you through it. You cannot put someone in that kind of psychological state and leave them there. You have no idea what human beings have been through. It is not okay. I feel like there's no way that can even be legal. If anyone watching knows if that's even legal, please let me know. And you guys, I know that I'm so fired up about this and it's because it's not okay. It is not okay. I want you guys again to read between the lines and try to figure out, what are they doing by limiting your intake of water? What are they doing by limiting you having outside access or the ability to record something that maybe they wouldn't want recorded? What are they doing by bringing you to a terrible fucking psychological state for some people? What are they doing by doing that, having you get into that, to feel it, to take yourself back to those moments, and then just bringing you right back to the training? What are they doing? Control. They are literally trying to control you in every aspect, every single sense of the form. After that exercise, they went back to teaching about victim and payoffs, meaning where in your life have you been a victim and what's your payoff for playing the victim role? So what's the victim mentality? Maybe by saying that you're a victim, you get to not actually take action on things or whatever it is. They have you create all these lists, which let me remind you guys, you pay $500 for the course and there's 0 course material. There's nothing to take notes on. They don't use any sort of technology whatsoever at all. It's literally a piece of paper and a marker. So there's no overhead cost for them. Interesting. After teaching about victim, you go into another dyad and you try to convince your partner. You tell a story of a time in your life when you've been a victim. And the whole point is that everyone at some point in their life has felt a victim, whether it be like online bullying or like bullying in school or from your parents or whatever it is. So you have to sit there and tell the story of when you were a victim and convince your partner that you're a victim. And at the end of that, the teacher asks, if you are convinced that your partner is a victim, stand up, and they have them stand up. So they're really, really playing into the victim thing, really getting into everybody's heads how they've been a victim for a majority of their life. After the dyad victim, you then go to your small group. So this is the first time on the second day that you're in your small group with your leader, the volunteer, and you stand up and you say how you've been a victim and whatever else they asked you to say. I'm literally sitting there and I'm really trying so hard, even after all of this bullshit that I've just experienced, I'm still trying to learn and to get into, to go where they want me to go. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't live my life as a victim. And it's like, and everything that they say is actually not in past tense, it's in current tense. So it's, where am I being a victim in my life? What are the payoffs? What do I get for playing the victim card? And I literally stood up and I was like, just total honesty, I want to go here, I want to be a part of this, and I'm really struggling because I am no motherfucking victim. Hard things have happened in my life. They all shaped me into who I am today. Sure, they were hard, sure, I struggled, but I am no victim because of it. I'm actually a victor because I came through it. I overcame it and now I use it to help others. So that was a really difficult exercise for me, if you guys can imagine. Anytime that we did a group exercise or a dyad, we would all be sitting in the chairs and we'd have to take our chair and sit with the dyad or move the chairs essentially. So after the exercises, we played a game of how fast can we align the chairs back in the right form, which to anyone who's competitive, it's like, okay, I can do this, First time we go, we do it within 4 minutes. But mind you, there's tape on the ground that shows you exactly where the chairs go. So all you have to do is stack the chairs on there, and the volunteers are going around saying, the chair does not go there, the chair does not go there, the chair does not go there. And just so you guys know, I'm not dumb. I understand that people are not that motherfucking angry in their own life. Like, I fully understand that it's all part of the psychological experience that they're trying to create. All of this negative vibes, negative connotation, belittling, making you feel stupid, having you yelled at, having you feel like, oh my God, I have to conform. Oh, if I'm gonna pee my pants, I might as well just pee my pants because I cannot get up in the middle of this. It's all a way to control you. What's funny is if you talk to somebody that is currently in the program but in a level above you, is they'll all tell you, you just have to get through the first few days. Some people will even say, if you can make it through her training, you can make it through anything. My whole thought process is, no, you don't. You are a human being and you deserve to be treated like one. You should never disrespect yourself in being treated that way, ever, period. No, you do not have to fucking sit through that. So if somebody sent you this YouTube video because you're in the training and you're feeling a little weird about it and now you're watching this, you have full permission to get the fuck out. You don't need permission. Nobody needs to tell you. But I know for me, when I called my mentor and my life coach and they said, get the fuck out, that gave me what I needed to be confident in my decision. With all this said, I actually can understand the type of people that would respond positively to this kind of environment. And it's the people that are so low in their lives, maybe emotionally, or maybe they're just so lost and looking for answers with good intentions. These are good people. Good people go through this training. They're not bad people. They're looking for good things. But it's when they're at that level, they're at that low of a level, whether it be mentally or just looking for answers or whatever, they're willing to be treated like a piece of shit if it means that they'll get answers. They'll say, you just gotta stick through it, you know? And my whole approach is approaching things from a loving, encouraging, uplifting, positive type of environment. No matter what, if anyone comes into contact with me and they need help, it should always be in a place that comes from love. Even if that means looking you in the eye and giving you the cold, hard truth, that may hurt a little bit. It's coming from a place of love. So after day 2, I actually was trying to convince myself to go to day 3. I was like, I paid for this, maybe it'll get better, maybe they won't be so negative today. Like, I was also, after 2 days of training, completely just emotionally, mentally, so exhausted, so tired. It takes a toll on your body, and it's all purposeful in their training. I understand that. So in that feeling, I call my life mentor, my life coach, my personal development guy, AKA Doc. If you know me, you know him and you trust him. I told him even just the smallest bit of what was going on, and he literally said, get the fuck out. His advice was, you have seen their hearts, you have seen where they stand. That is not going to change. So no matter what they get you to buy into, no matter the sales people that come and get you to buy into it, no matter the actual good experiences or journal prompts or things that they have that could bring transformation, it's coming from a dark and a fucked up place. Get out, and get out now. After deciding not to go to the rest of the training, so to make it clear, I went to day 1 and day 2. Day 3, I decided not to go. I felt an immense amount of heartache for the people that were still in my training. And that's a majority of the reason why I'm making this video, is because I just cannot believe that human beings are treated this way and that people say that it's okay. And people act like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. People should never be treated this way. I want to remind you guys, I went to a personal development, career development, life growth type of experience, and my time and my energy means everything to me. My energy was literally sucked out of me, like drained. I don't even know how to describe it. And it's not drained from a positive standpoint of we're dealing with hard things and it's gonna be hard sometimes. I'm good at hard shit. I'm really good at doing all the hard things. I have no problem with that. It wasn't that way. It's not a coincidence and it's not an accident that after day 1 and after day 2, I had very bad dreams and nightmares. Out of nowhere, out of the blue, I really don't have bad dreams, haven't had bad dreams in a long time. I haven't watched anything like scary on the TV. I haven't had any bad experience whatsoever, but I go to this training and immediately bad energy, bad vibes, I feel it. I go to sleep, nightmares day 1, nightmares day 2, drained, exhausted, empty day 3, then I said fuck it. I now want to take time and read a few reviews that I found on Yelp, which I will place screenshots of as I read them. I also want to note that all of the 5-star reviews that are recent are generally from people that are still involved in the training. I think it would be a really good thing to find somebody that left the program, left any level of training, and see if they still speak highly about it. If it's only people that are still in the training speaking highly of it, that's not really a good review. This is from Michael B. He said, I only lasted 2 days. Please note, this is a review based on me only lasting 2 days of the 5-day basic. So maybe it could have gotten better, but I wasn't willing to stick it out. I signed up for basic on a colleague's recommendation. You'll notice 100% of people in the program are from a referral. I was hoping to work on leadership skills, self-awareness, and emotional control. Overall, I thought this training was about emotional intelligence. It's not, at least not in the professional or academic sense. This training is 100% about you, your personal trauma, and is borderline group therapy. My wife's a licensed mental health therapist, so I feel fairly confident that this borders some ethical boundaries, even though they go at length to advise people it's not therapy. The training's language and for sure the exercise say different. MIT staff is nice and friendly, except the lead trainer. She, as I'm sure she's trained, is the opposite of emotionally intelligent and will grate on your soul. Again, it is probably not her personally, but that's how the training is designed. Overall, this may be good if you're struggling with some deep personal issues, recent loss, depression, previous trauma, and do not want to go to traditional therapy. For me, it was pretty far from emotional intelligence, so much that I was willing to wash 500 down the drain and skip the last 3 days. Jennifer H. Cult beware. Plenty of suicides, sleep deprivation, mind control, hypnosis, steals money, turns people into sociopaths, alienates you from close friends and family, mental games, all with a smile, teaches you to align when you don't agree, and sees how far they can push a person before they break. Lindy Y. MITT is one of the biggest regrets of my life. MITT is a scam and filled with lies. I've taken numerous personal and professional development classes that were very good. MITT was terrible. They kept dangling carrots saying to trust the process, but it was empty promises filled with lies. It's a big waste of time and money. It is like a cult in the sense that once you sign up, they make it very difficult to quit. The only thing I learned is that people will lie to your face and promise anything to enroll you. The whole point is to make the advanced students enroll new students in order to make money. It's a scam. Now you don't need to take the class because I just gave away the punchline. One woman in our class had a nervous breakdown as a result of the training. Another man ended up in the hospital. If there were negative stars, I would rate MITT a -10. I highly recommend Tony Robbins instead if you're looking for a training class that is respectable and valuable. ML. A guy killed himself in the LP after me due to their psychological brainwashing. I repeat, killed himself. Pretty sure his family tried to sue, but you can't because you literally sign your life away before joining. Any company that claims they are based on love would not be worried about you suing them. If I didn't get you at a guy killed himself and he is not the first one to do so or become severely depressed, hospitalized, then suit yourself. It's a waste of time, money, emotions, and possibly your life. MITT is based on LifeSpring. At least 30 lawsuits sought to hold LifeSpring responsible for participants' deaths or their mental damages. Sound familiar? I don't want to see one more person die due to MITT's coercive persuasion. There were a few warnings that people put out. It said if only the people who speak highly of the organization are still in it, beware. If you can't find anyone that has left and still speaks highly of it, beware. Sleep deprivation will destabilize even the most intelligent person. People in the group are past participants who will weep and tell intimate details. I think this one is interesting because my intuition and my energy and when I read things, they're very good. And when we were doing that dyad and one of the people that was completely weeping like so loudly on a different level, like crazily weeping, was right next to me, and she was a volunteer that was supposed to be like a leader of her group. In my head, immediately I was like, that's definitely fake. Like, that's not a real person weeping, and I was like, Emily, don't be judgmental. Emily, you don't know what she's dealt with. You don't know her life. Maybe she hasn't dealt with it yet. And I really talked myself out of believing that. And then when I saw this, I just really started to think about all the things I experienced in there. And I don't think that it is too far out to say that there are people in there that are purposely doing certain things or relaying super intimate details to get you to say the same to them. Remember, the more intimate that you share with somebody, the closer you feel. The whole point for getting the entire group as close as possible is so that you feel connected and you almost feel this responsibility to then go on to the next level, which means more money for them. Now, I want to take a moment and give you guys the history of MITT because this actually explains a lot. I will link this down below, and this is from Cult Education Institute. To give you an informed history of MITT as well as links to non-biased information and news articles, please keep reading. MITT is the third generation of government-convicted, fraudulent, large group awareness trainings. It, as well as Landmark, comes from a company called Mind Dynamics that is related to one of the first pyramid schemes in the United States. The first generation was a company called Mind Dynamics. This company was disbanded following an investigation of fraud. Former members created a number of spin-offs, including LifeSpring, after both spin-off organizations were tried and convicted of lawsuits ranging from involuntary servitude to wrongful deaths in the 80s and 90s. Both were also disbanded. While in 1999, the Los Angeles area director of LifeSpring, Margot, bought the company and renamed it to Mastery in Transformational Training, MITT. LifeSpring was a 3-tiered system that used psychological strain, public embarrassment, harassment, imposed buddy system, strict rules and regulation, sleep deprivation, promoting deficient views of family, false memories, and a whole host of other military basic training proven psychological techniques used to create loyalty within their attendees. Upon leaving MITT, it is common that the members will receive phone calls and at-home visits to attempt to convince them to return. Some previous members who have left the group have changed their phone number and or address. At the end of this forum, it is someone named Robin, and she said, "My daughter tried to kill herself immediately after she left the LA MITT program after endless phone harassment." She goes on to explain that her aunt, which is the mom's sister, she's the one that enrolled her in it, got her to do it, and her, along with volunteers and the staff, made her feel super guilty for not wanting to enroll in the final program. She drove to New York, jumped into the East River at 4 a.m. in the morning, and a police officer happened to drive by and saw her. She was hospitalized for hypothermia and then in the psych ward for a month. She was terrified that the people in MITT were coming to kill her. She had stabilized after a year of therapy, but it was terrifying and a bad road to recovery. I want to warn all the people of the dangers of their methods. And then asked if she knows if anyone has any class action lawsuits against Margot. Do your own research, check out the links below, find out more links. I am just shocked that there's not a single YouTube video on this, and I felt the responsibility to put this out there. Again, I'm really sorry that it was kind of like a negative type of video, but this is something that I could not just pretend didn't happen, and I couldn't just pretend that 226 human beings were treated like shit, and that continue to be treated like shit once a month. And that's just the basic training. There's more than that. Anyways, I'm done. I feel like I've done my duty. I've put it out there. I love you guys. I will support you guys no matter what. I respect your decision more than my own opinion. The biggest thing is that I am a very heart-centered, love-centered, positive-centered coach and person in general. So going to the negative side of these things, making people feel like shit, just does not align with me at all. I actually went in hoping to figure out more weaknesses of mine. I love figuring out where I'm weak because then I can make it stronger, or I can make improvement in that area. And I think actually I realized I sometimes don't give enough credit to my strengths, and one of my strengths is encouraging and empowering and uplifting other people so that they can be their best. I don't think I ever really realized how much people need love and encouragement and support and positive upbringing and positive reinforcement to go do what they're capable of doing, even though they might not see it or may not know it yet. That's gonna wrap up this video. I wanna thank you guys so much for watching the video. Again, I apologize, it was more of a it's not the positive uplifting video that you normally get on my channel, but don't worry, we will resume back to those videos. I really wanna make it a point that you should stand for what you believe in, no matter what. When you feel something in your gut, if you have intuition or even energy or just vibes that are off or not feeling right, and you feel that, you follow it. You don't have to reason with it, you don't have to have an exact answer or evidence or whatever. Always go with what you're feeling no matter what it is. Your gut, your intuition is always right. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you for our resumed, happy, uplifting, positive, encouraging videos that are going to help you chase after whatever it is that you want in life in a positive manner. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.